On Wednesday, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed declared a state of emergency as rebel groups from the northern region of Tigray began to close in on the capital of Addis Ababa, also the headquarters of the African Union. In November 2020, a civil war erupted between Ethiopian government forces and the Tigray People's Liberation Front, which was the country's dominant political party from the early 1990s up until Abiy's Prosperity Party came to power in 2018. The TPLF announced the formation of a coalition including 8 other political and ethnic factions as they captured towns only 100 miles from Addis Ababa. Within the capital, reports have surfaced that ethnic Tigrayans have been the victims of persecution by federal officials. Although the U.S. is unlikely to intervene militarily, expect the U.S. Senate to pass a series of sanctions against leaders of all sides as both stand accused of war crimes and human rights abuses. However, sanctions may disincentivize government cooperation on crucial issues such as the distribution of humanitarian aid in a conflict where over 900,000 people are facing famine conditions. India and the UK began negotiations over a new trade agreement on Monday. Initially affirmed in July 2020, the agreement seeks to strengthen the two nations' already robust economic ties. Talks are set to last until early 2022, with an interim agreement set to be announced in March. The initial pact will likely include tariff reductions for both parties in key industries including textile and pharmaceutical manufacturing. In the wake of Brexit, the UK has sought to expand its international trade with a series of free trade agreements, with India being a key target of these efforts. Thus, the UK should be eager to quickly reach an agreement, potentially offering additional concessions to expedite the process. Despite readiness to reach a deal, negotiations may stall on the issue of UK agricultural imports, which have fallen drastically in the last 20 years. With London hesitant to reduce barriers on agricultural imports, expect negotiations to be focused on this commodity, whose export grew 17% for India in 2021. This week, Palestine experienced Israeli-imposed power blackouts in areas of the West Bank. Citing unpaid bills totaling over $150 million, Israel says the blackouts will continue until the debts are paid or an agreement is reached. Palestine has requested that the blackouts avoid critical infrastructure like hospitals, but any confirmation has yet to come from Israeli officials. Israel, which unilaterally controls the power supply to Palestine, has restricted energy flows into the Gaza Strip and the West Bank in the past. Israel will likely continue to exercise their monopoly over critical resources in Palestine as a way to temper Palestinian political power, particularly after recent legislation was passed allowing for illegally built homes to be connected to the national power grid.